Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Sri Prabhupada. All glories to our revered speaker for today, His Grace GANGA PRASAD Das Prabhu. And all glories to our assembled Vaishnava devotees. We thank you all for being here today. It's a beautiful date, actually. It's the 25th day of 2025, September. And it's Thursday. We have one of our own, His Grace GANGA PRASAD Das Prabhu. So, Prabhuji, we are very much honored to have your divine association. And we are just about to enjoy your divine speaking also. So, before we started this program online, His Grace was already here. And he humorously shared with me he's been here early enough so he does not get fined. And I also said, I wanted him to be late a little bit so that he could get fined so I can make a little bit more money. But here we are. It's Grace GANGA Das Prabhu. We will put the verse on the screen and you take it over from here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Om Advyantimirandaksya Jnanang Jnana Salakaya Chakshuro Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Radhanath Swami Iti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Sri Chaitanya Nanobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupa Sagrajatan Sagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Bhavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Manchakalpatarubhyaschai Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanambhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanyan Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Srivasadi Sri Gora Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Narautamam Devin Saraswatim Vyasa Chatudaya Mudiret Nasta Priya Swabradisu Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya Bhagavate Utamas Loke Bhakti Bhavati Nastiki. Hare Krishna. I like to formally welcome everybody present and beg very seriously for your mercy, that I may do this service with due diligence for my purification and also for the benefit of the audience. Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming, and thank the organizers for affording me this opportunity for my purification. We are taking our reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto and third canto, chapter 13, Appearance of Lord Varaha, subtitled Brahma Instructs Manu. Text number 11. We read the sloka and then we recite the word for word transliteration, then go to the translation and purport. Hare Krishna. Satvam asya apatyani sadri sanyat manogunai utpadya sa sadamena gamya gyai purusham yaja satvam asya apatyani sadrisanyatmano gunai upadya sasadamena gamya gyai purusham yaja satvam asya apatyani sadrisanyatmano gunai utpadya sasadamena gamya gyai purusham yaja. Word for word transliteration. Saha, therefore, that obedient son, Twam, as you are, Asyam, in her, Apatyani, children, Sradisani, equally qualified, Atmana, of yourself, Gunai, with the characteristics, Utpadya, having begotten, Sasa, rule, Dhamena, on the principles of devotional service, Gam, the world, Yajnai, by sacrifices, Purusham, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yaja, worship, translation and explanation by divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada ki. Since you are my very obedient son, I ask you to beget children qualified like yourself in the womb of your wife. Rule the world in pursuance of the principles of devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus worship the Lord by performances of yagya. Purport. The purpose of the material creation by Brahma is clearly described herein. Every human being should beget nice children in the womb of his wife as a sacrifice for the purpose of worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead in devotional service. In the Vishnu Purana 389, it is stated Vanashrama Charavata Purushena Parapumam Vishnu Aradyate Panta Nanyata to Sakaranam. One can worship the Supreme Personality of God at Vishnu by proper discharge of the principles of Vana and Ashram. There is no alternative to pacifying the Lord by execution of the principles of Vanashram system. Vishnu worship is the ultimate aim of human life. Thus, those who can take license of married life for sense enjoyment must also take the responsibility to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. And the first stepping stone is the Varnashram Dharma system. Varnashram Dharma is a systematic institution for advancing in worship of Vishnu. However, if one directly engages in the process of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it may not be necessary to undergo the disciplinary system of Varnashram Dharma. The other sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, directly engaged in devotional service, and thus they had no need to execute the principles of Varnashram Dharma. Mukam karoti vachalam, pangam langayate girim, ya kripatvam ahamvande, Shri Guru Dinatarinam, ya kripatvam ahamvande, Paramananda Madhava, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwara. The text we are reading today is a very, very compact text, because ultimately the content of Krishna consciousness is summed up here. Like the purpose says that the purpose of material creation of Brahma is clearly defined here in purpose. When there's a purpose, there's a process, there's personnel, clientele, and there's a place. That is the 4 P's of administration. So, Varnashram Dharma or Varnashram is a pin-pricking concept that has bedecked the leadership of ISKCON until today. Even after 30-something years of Prabhupada's departure, 40-something years, we are still trying to find a way to navigate it. But Shivaram Swami in Hungary is taking a lead in doing it. But it is interesting to note that yes, there is much said about Varnashram, but there is also need to understand basic concepts. Prabhupada did his preaching. Prabhupada embarked on his espionage mission to make the whole world Krishna conscious, being empowered as a Senapati. And he broke a lot of grounds. At the end, he was saying he has a lamentation. And what is that lamentation? Is that he has only completed 50% of his mission, and he has not set up Varnashram Dharma. And it is in an ongoing discussion. There are those in ISKCON who are for it, and there are those also who are not giving it priority, because the context in itself has some seeming contradictions. You have seeming contradiction, for and not for. But then, if we objectively go through the text and get relevant references from our scripture, we'll find the need to be convinced at whatever niche we batch. So in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, text number 40, Prabhupada mentioned in the purport 140, Adama Abi Baba Krishna Pradusyanti Kulasriya, Sistu Sudas Desnuvasneya Jayate Vana Shankara. Vana Shankara, why? Unwanted progeny. And you can see the text is referring to wanted progeny, not unwanted. Since you are my very obedient son, I ask you to be qualified. That is wanted. Qualified children like yourself in the womb of your wife. So this text says talking about begetting children that are unqualified. And in the purport, Prabhupada opened by saying, good population in a human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. So if we catch it from this angle, we'll see that there's objectivity in perusing Varnashram Dharma. Why? Is it every progeny that is qualified progeny? That is the big question. But then there is a need to process, like you have raw material and you have to process it or refine it so that you bring out the finest in it. Prabhu Sadev is one witness. In Ghana, there's a lot of gold because Ghana is called Gold Coast. But the fineness of gold cannot come out unless gold is purified through the furnace of fire. So Varnashram is like the furnace of fire to purify the raw material. So in Bhagavatam, chapter 2 of the first canto, text number 2, Prabhupada made very fine reference to this unqualified nature of the living entity. And he said, generally, a man is born as an ordinary being. Ordinary, nothing to attach to him. Come on. And by purificatory process, like I said, purificatory process, going through the furnace of fire, necessarily not fire, but the fire of knowledge. He is born the second time. So Varnashram is a tool for second birth. So even if philosophically we are convinced that it is not the ultimate goal, still we'll give credence to the need for it because of the larger society that we are living in. And also for creating a template, a model that will be like a legacy for the world to pursue. Because whatever a great man does, Yadiyat Acharati Shrestha, common men will follow. And whatever standard is set by exemplary action, all the world will pursue. So Prabhupada went further to say that when the ordinary man sees new light and seeks direction for spiritual progress, we are seekers of different directions. But here the point is for spiritual progress, someone for mystic progress, someone for material progress. There are many chases that are there, but here the reference is for spiritual progress. Then he approaches a spiritual master. If he doesn't want spiritual progress, he will approach a teacher for what he wants. And Prabhupada said, the spiritual master accepts only sincere inquirers as his disciple. So if we come to Guru with insincerity, we will not enjoy the benefit that accrue from approaching a Guru. Because in Gita 4:34, it said, Tad vidi pranipatena pranipasena sevaya. Upadeshanti te jnana jnaninan tatva dashina. If you want to learn the truth, just approach a bona fide spiritual master who is in line from Krishna, disciplic succession. Inquire from him, there is prerequisite, submissively. Render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart because he has seen the truth. So when the spiritual master accepts the sincere disciple who gives him sacred thread, genuine, many times we are very proud that we are wearing Brahmana thread, but it's only 2 rupees thread. But it's like electric wire. It can make the difference. But that is, when you go somewhere, either you are given employment or you are engaged in an educational institution, you are given letter of acceptance. So the Brahmana thread is letter of acceptance. It's not a qualification. Like Prabhupada said, the collar of a dog. It shows that the dog belongs to somebody, not just stray dog. Okay? So after qualifying as a twice born, is titled a Dvija. Dvija means twice, Dvi, 2. One may study the Vedas. So the acceptance with Brahmana thread is not a qualification, but is eligibility to pursue study of the Vedas. No, to pursue being qualified to study. Then when you get the thread, you are qualified to study the Vedas. And when you study the Vedas and after becoming very vast in the Vedas, one comes to become a Vipra. A Vipra or a qualified Brahmana thus realizes the absolute truth. Because that's what he said in the second canto 10, that the ultimate goal is Brahma Jignasa, inquiry into the absolute truth. No chase, nothing else. Every other thing we do is futile, just to come to this platform of being a Vipra. A Vipra or a qualified Brahmana thus realizes the absolute truth and makes further progress in spiritual life until he reaches the Vaishnava stage. If you follow this sequence, you're already accommodating Varnashram and you are progressing beyond Varnashram. You come to the stage of being a Vaishnava. Vaishnava is beyond the Varnashram. That's why Mahaprabhu said, I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not a Vaishya, I'm not a Sudra, I'm just Gopi Batu Padana Kamalayo, Das, and others. That's a higher platform. But for people who are raw, like we said, ordinary men, it is our compassion, and that is also extension of Prabhupada's compassion, to extend a platform for them to tread so that they can evolve, because it is a necessity for every human being. When Prabhupada was discussing with Bob in the book, Perfect Question, Perfect Answer, one topic there is the goal of life. What is the goal of life? We have embodied. Sabayodis Conte, all of us have taken birth. And we have been facilitated by Krishna, Aham Bijab, Pradapita, the seed-giving father. We have been facilitated here for a purpose. And what is that purpose? The purpose is the goal of life. Going back home, back to Godhead. So ultimately, it is not that Varnashram is a priority but it's a facility that is provided out of compassion. And it is Krishna's compassion. Because Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4:13 that Chato Vida Bhajante Mam, Chato Vanya Maya Sriswa. I created the four system. So Krishna's compassion is manifest in the Varnashram. And so there's no question of jettisoning it. But if we philosophically analyze it, we'll find out that yes, as important as it is, there is still a higher cost to chase. That was why when Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai were discussing in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the 8th chapter of Madhya Lila, talk between the Lord and Ramananda Rai. When Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Rai to say, what is the goal of life? What can lead one to the goal of life? And Ramananda Rai mentioned Vanashram. If you see the response there, you would think, oh, just throw this in the refuse bin. Mahaprabhu said, this is external. You had better tell me of some other means. You see how trivial Mahaprabhu placed it. But that is because Mahaprabhu have come to give us what nobody else has given. Namo Mahabhadanya, Krishna Prema Padaite. Krishnaya, Krishna Chaitanyam. Namne Gora Twise Namaha. He has not come to give us basic or basis. He has come to give us the ultimate goal, which is love of Godhead. So that is why he placed it like this. And this discussion are not with, it's not with people of low grade. It is for esoteric people. Ramananda Rai, Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu was wanting to juice him. So he kept pushing him until he came to speak about Radharani. So this settles the dispute. So we need good population to be able to practice and progress in Krishna consciousness. So the ultimate aim of Varnashram Dharma is to turn a crude man into a pure devotee of the Lord or a Vaishnava. That is the ultimate purpose of Varnashram. It's not that it's the ultimate. So it is elaborate study that is very, very educative, informative. And Bhishma Dev, in his benevolence, gave us enough. He gave enough. In the 9th chapter of the 1st canto, when he was teaching the Pandavas and Yudhishthira, these were part of the content of his tutorials. Prabhupada spent almost 8 pages in dealing with the purport of what he mentioned. And the content of his speech was that first we have to strive for having good character. That is good population. Education without character is useless. So it's a futile attempt. So Bhishma Dev was mentioning Varnashram Dharma is prescribed for the civilized human being just to train him to successfully terminate human life. This is Prabhupada's purpose. And so self-realization is distinguished from the life of lower animals engaged in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. Civilized and animal life. But when Prabhupada said in that purport, everybody is born an ordinary man, it means we need to evolve from ordinary to become at least civilized. And being civilized means cultured. So it's mentioned by Martin Luther King, don't judge a man by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character. So we must gather character. And so Bhishma Dev mentioned there, he said, Bhishma Dev advised for all human beings, 9 qualifications. not to be angry, not to become angry. It's a character trait. It is also content of civility. Not to lie. To equally distribute wealth. In this purport, you see, Prabhupada did a lot of job. And he gave succor to those who are in the Sudra class. Prabhupada went to the extent that the Sudras don't need a bank account. They don't need savings. Why? His institution of Varnashram is properly conducted with civility. The lower class of society will be taken care of, proper care, by the higher class of society. So they don't need to worry, they are secured. The money in the bank does not give you security in reality. It's just like stimuli. It's there. And it's accompanied with fear of losing it. But if the upper class of society are taking care of the lower class and wealth is evenly distributed, those who don't have, they will not worry in the real sense because all the necessities are there. It is in this same purport that Prabhupada mentioned that if the king is ruling well, the people are the one who will tell the king, come and take tax from us because you have given up the enabling environment to strive and we are doing good. So when a just king rules, like in the case of Maharaj Yudhishthira, he said the vegetation is nurtured by milk coming from the breast bag, milk bag of cows. If we are running farms, we use tractor to water the plant. But in the leadership of a civilized ideal king, it is cows out of joy because they're also cared for. Cows are taken care of. They are protected. Out of joy, they give. So a civilized society is a society where there is giving, not taking. The atmosphere we have now is everybody's destiny in the undeveloped country has been taken away by the political class. And so every day there is strife. And Prabhupada said it there. If the Sudras are not taken care of, then they will revolt. So Bhishmadev went further to say, to forgive. First is not to get angry. Here he says to forgive. To beget children only by one's legitimate wife. This is where the text we are reading now has connection. Say, with your legitimate wife, beget powerful children. So if it is not legitimate children, they will resort to being Vana Shankara, unwanted progeny, illegitimate children. 6, to be pure in mind and hygienic in body. A healthy mind houses a healthy body. And the 7th, not to be inimical towards anyone. Number 8, to be simple. The motto of Krishna consciousness is simple living, high thinking. To be simple. And to support servants or subordinates. This is the last. So equal distribution of wealth and support of servants and subordinates. So Bhishmadev said this and he made it like a platform and he expanded it in describing Varnashram, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, and their duties in an ideal civilized society. He also spoke about women. It is the purport of reference to the women that actually tickle my fancy. He said, as far as the women class are concerned, they are accepted as power of inspiration for men. So don't kid with women. They are power of inspiration. If you find ideal wife, the Bible says he who finds a good wife finds what? A good thing, find fortune and favor from God. So it becomes a power of inspiration. As such, women are more powerful than men. No kidding. Mighty Julius Caesar was controlled by Cleopatra. Such powerful women are controlled by shyness. That is the real strength of women. Shyness. As if they cannot do anything, but they can do many, many things. Therefore, shyness is important for women. This is also a character trait for women. Once this control valve is loosened, women can create havoc in society by idolatry through women liberation or equal rights. What a man can do, woman can do better. It's going to end in chaos, nothing else. Okay, so Bhishmadev and Prabhupada also in his purport, he really gave us enough to ponder about and to facilitate us. But then the ultimate thing, like the text we are reading, is to become a pure devotee of Krishna. So you can see the text, since you are my very obedient son, that is the fourth commandment of the Bible. Honor your father and your mother, and your days will be long. A commandment with blessing. So here, Manu, somewhere Manu, is getting the blessings of the Father. And the scenario is a typical scenario that we study in the whole of Bhagavatam. Question and answer. And in the Nectar of Instruction, Prabhupada said, when somebody who knows, when an experienced person is speaking, the one who is not experienced, he learns. So this is very good. The whole of these texts, the ones preceding and now, is very good interpersonal relationship with father and son, or parents and children. Very, very good. The children should obey their parents, and then they will be given beneficial instructions. And also as disciples, it is a responsibility to chase that we get instruction from our guardian, our guru, Shiksha or Diksha. They should guide us like Manu is guiding Manu. But like Mahaprabhu said, do driver Midisam Hajani Anuraga. Unfortunate as I am, I'm not attracted. Many of us, even when we are given instruction, we jettison it. We throw it in the trash bin. I've been in an environment where in a wedding ceremony, I think it's my daughter's wedding ceremony, and Bhakti Dhirada Maharaj has to speak. He said, beget children as powerful as Lord Brahma. That they should produce children like Lord Brahma. That is a Herculean task. But then, if we follow these rudiments, as Prabhupada explained in that purport, and as Bhishmadev topped it, and how Lord Brahma taught to Swayambhuva, it is achievable. It's just that we have to submit ourselves. That is why the whole concept of Varnashram Dharma is to teach you about right attachment accompanied by detachment. So it's in Nectar in the Upanishad, it said that human life is a life of responsibility. So in the purport you see here, so those who take the license of marriage, license and responsibility, they are in pari passu. They accompany each other. So if you are given the license to marry, then you have to follow, and that is why the sanskaras are also mentioned. To do this and to do it rightly, you must follow the purificatory process of samskaras, Gabodana samskara. But if we are not trained, because that is the main thing, If we don't subject ourselves to be trained, then we will not be better than animals. Training and practicing what we have been taught is a necessity to become vessels of honor. Otherwise, we'll be vessels of indignation. So the text is very compact, like I said, but it is very, very enlivening. If you have to go through all this and do all the researches that are there, you'll see that we need to support Prabhupada's concept. And that is, even if we don't set up an ashram, but we should be able to live a life that's like a model for others to follow. But the bane of our institution is, because of this not being established, there's a topsy-turvy and pandemonium. Everybody is wearing neck beads. Everybody has a chanting bag. Everybody has a guru. And so everybody is equal. Yes, we are all equal. Eternal servants of Krishna, spirit souls. But there is gradation. Somebody has to walk. Somebody has to become a sannyasi, a vanaprastha. Somebody has to become a grihastha, but ideal. That's one beautiful thing about Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not about converting anybody to anything. It's just that as the knowledge revolves within you, if he hits you, you feel no pain. So is this the way you see it? No pains. You don't chase what will give you pain in the end. Krishna said those pleasures that are in the beginning, they are very, very exciting, tasty, and this. In the end, they bring pains. But those that give you pain in the beginning, because no pain, no gain, in the end, they are sweet. That is what we should chase. So it's going to be painful to achieve this, but it's just that we have the determination. Usaha, this chaya, they are it. Enthusiastic. Endeavor with confidence. Be patient. If we chase it with this background, obviously we'll come out successful. And so it should not just be producing children. If you look everywhere now, this person delivered, that person gave birth to this. The population of the world is not reducing, it's increasing. And the irony is that the women population is more than that of men. So Prabhupada's formula or counsel, everybody stay brahmachari and all the women get married. But the big question is, who are the women going to marry when they are more in number? So if we stick to brahmacharya, we'll be living an exemplary life. And Prabhupada in his purport to one text in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he said, we are not against polygamy, but you have to be qualified to be able to take more than one wife. Although one also is a problem. But that is the most beautiful thing about the incarnation of Lord Krishna. Krishna kept 16,108 queens. Too much money, too much wealth. Bhagwan. 16,108 palaces. And the icing on the cake, he was present in every palace at the same time, doing different chores, household chores. So if you look at that, is it achievable? Then you can size yourself up. But then, easy way is like Prabhupada said, he was also married. But he said, I got more children by making disciples than begetting them from my wife. So it is healthy discussion, it's healthy concept. If we make time and read again and again and generate materials from here, there, within our philosophy, we'll be feeling happy. I feel very excited dealing with this text. One, I'm a struggling grihasta. So it gives me a glimmer of light. This is how, desiderata. This is what it should be like. Okay. And then also for our children, we have what to advise them. This is what it should look like. It says, since you are my very obedient son. In the Bible, during the transfiguration, the same statement was made to Jesus. He said, this is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear him. My beloved obedient son, I ask you, beget qualified children like yourself in the womb of your wife. No accidental discharge. Conscientious effort to achieve this. That is only how we can have what Prabhupada said in that purport, good population. It is important. It must always ring in our mind. As citizens also, we have to exhibit being good citizens to enhance good population. It is only when there is good population that, we call it in sociology, in economics, enabling environment to invest. Enabling environment to practice Krishna consciousness. The population is good. And also in management, this is also a glimmer of light for us to see that yes, many devotees are coming to Krishna consciousness. We should not be overtly judgmental about them because they are like raw material, raw gold from Gold Coast. We have to know how much of the fire we put in the furnace, but ultimately the goal is to purify them. He said they become from crude. I like that purport. From crude, ultimately it's a crude man into a pure devotee. It's a painstaking task. To make a pure devotee is huge. It's a huge responsibility, very painful. But then, no pain, no gain. We have to keep striving. And ultimately, it is sure, ad nuta continua, victory exact. We will be successful in the end because we are not just a pathfinder. They have found a path. Ours is just to follow. The path has been defined. You can read that. That's the beauty of Bhagavatam. It's not like, oh, you should do this. It's now become an experiment. That's one beautiful thing about Vedic culture. It gives you room to ask questions. Who did it in the past? How did he do it? And what did he achieve? So from this reference now, you can go and see the after effect of this instruction with Swami Brahmanu. He got 2 sons and 3 daughters. The first son ruled the world. The second son may not be that very much of an inspiration, but it was a platform to manifest a historic experience of Dhruva Maharaj, Uttanapad. Priyavrata is the first son. He took to the same path as the 4 Kumaras. They don't want to procreate, they don't want progeny. But then he complicated the situation by going to the ashram of his uncle, Narad Muni. So when Sabhavamanu wanted to give up leadership and hand over to the heir parent, he did not find somebody. And he was sure that if he left it in the hand of Uttanapad, he's not sure what will happen. So he went what do you call it, dialoguing and conferencing. He spoke first to Priyavrata. He said, no, Daddy. He thought it would work the way it worked with the four Kumaras. But then the father being administrator, he followed due process. He didn't go straight to his guru, who is his brother. He went to their father and said, Daddy, you told me to beget children, I've gotten them, and now I think I should retire, but Priyavrata is not yielding. And he is going to take shelter, living the life of a renunciant in Narad Muni's ashram. So Lord Brahma accompanied him. Very many lessons. Lesson that when you want to infuse a change or correction, there's approach. You don't do it always directly. That's Vaishnava, what is written in Vaishnava Kantahara. If you need to tell a Vaishnava something and you know you will not get desired result, approach the rightful authority or the person that is a favorite of that person, mention it to him, and then you see that you get results. Bhumi went to Lord Brahma to complain. He didn't go straight to Gabodakashai Vishnu to complain that the Kshatriya class, they are amassing so much armament and soldiers. He went to Brahma. Brahma cried for me, and Brahma cried. And he got results. So we must be result-based. That's why Srila Krishna said we should be solution-finding, not fault-finding. Where is the solution? Because solution is what will work. So Lord Brahma accompanied him to meet Narad Muni. And he told Narad Muni, this is the organogram of managing the material world. Somebody must be in position of leadership. So tell your disciple. So Narad Muni called Priyavrata and told him. He said his fear is that he doesn't want to marry. He doesn't want to be caught up in Maya. Then they blessed him. You will do this, you will not be enamored by Maya. And Priyavrata ruled. If you read that canto of Bhagavatam, he said his chariot was generating light effulgence. His will stopped time, which is only what Krishna himself did. That is what it means to be powerful. So Swambhuvamano beget powerful son as it is instructed. It's evident. So if somebody did, any one of us can do, but we have to have the prerequisite qualification. Like Bhishma Devi is telling us. And many more, 26 qualities of a Vaishnava, 20 qualities of knowledge. All of these are there for us. And that is why we should spend more of our time drinking this nectar, because we have been given the treasure island, especially in Bhagavatam, inexhaustible treasure. If you turn this way, there's reference. If you turn that way, there's reference. If you turn that way, there's evidence. So it's not like blind chasing. So I'm inspired, and I hope we all will be inspired by the content of this chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we take advantage of it. Sure, we will achieve the ultimate goal of becoming Krishna's devotee and Das, and Das. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, His Grace Ganga Prasad Prabhu, as always. You were saying that we should be inspired by this particular teaching, which I agree with you that, yes, I am inspired. But equally, I'm very much disturbed. So I will share with you my disturbance. But before I do that, do anybody, if anyone may have questions, reflections, comments, realizations, you may want to ask, share, indicate by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you asked to unmute to ask your question or share your reflections. Jai. His Grace Shriman Prabhu, please you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, please afternoon, brother Santu.
Jai.
All glories to you.
Jai.
All glories to you and all glories to the assembled devotees. Thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful delivery. The subject matter of Vanashram, it's something that interests all of us, but interests me particularly a lot. So I just want you to clarify something. Because when you said it's a fact, what you said is a fact. But then when we say that in ISKCON, some people are against, some people are for, because it is not the goal. But it's a facility for attaining the goal. It's understandable what you said. But what I would like you to also state is, what is the alternative for making a society follow God-conscious principles other than Vanashram?
Prabhupada himself mentioned somewhere, and that defines his purpose of wanting to set up Vanashram. Not everybody will become a devotee. And the purport we read, the text we are reading now, says that if one directly engages in the process of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it may not be necessary. It's there in the purport. But Prabhupada is thinking outside the box. We are not preaching to ourselves. Our commission is wherever you go, whomsoever you meet. And wherever we go, the people we meet are these crude people. And the only way we can help them is this Vanashram Dharma. Because it is like soothing. Vyasadeva himself had the same concept when he spoke, when he divided the Vedas. It was to help people, not himself. So that people were not interested in anything. So he engaged them through their work to purify their work. It is the same concept. Let's set up this and it will help people. So our preaching will be more successful. That is the Prabhupada's vision. Otherwise, we can just lean on, okay, let everybody chant Hare Krishna, follow the Navavida Bhakti process, and then when they don't find fulfillment or conviction in it, they dump it. But why he said the ultimate purpose of it is a stepping stone. You know, you'll be happy doing and you'll be evolving, but then your question creates a worry. Why is it that as of today, except in Hungary, we don't have a template of an Vanashram community? It's of concern. So your question, what is the way out? Way out is do bhakti. If you take to bhakti with all seriousness. Like he said in that purport of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, text 41, purports. Okay, it's extracted from Srimad Bhagavatam. Devarishi Bhutatpa Nrinam Pritninam Nakin Karo Nayam Rinim Charajan Savat Mana Ya Saranam Saranya Gato Mukunda Paririta Karam. Anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligation, and has taken to this path in all seriousness. This is the word. But this is where Vanashram fills in. If they are not serious, they can see progress. Oh, neither duty obligation to the demigod, sages, general human being, general living entity, family members, humankind or forefathers. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performing devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God. But you may have a more clear concept you want to add to give definition to the discourse.
Thank you very much. Of course, your presentation, you're very much clear about your conviction for the need for Vanashram, and that is understandable. Your position is clear. What I have problem with, though, is, excuse me to say, what looks like double speak. And you also mentioned that it's a concern if it's just one community that seems to be trying to implement this Vanashram system. You said that it's a concern. So that makes it clear your position. But what I'm saying, the problem is, it's like we are not able to actually decipher the different level of implementation of Krishna consciousness for the betterment of all. Our teachings are very clear about it. But as long as we keep, balancing between where you can do this, you can do that, then the success of our preaching will remain as it is today, will not be globally felt. I just give 2.2 examples, then I'll stop. So the Muslims, the Islamic religion, do not have very strong philosophy, but it is community-based. All the effort is based on how to make a whole community develop, God consciousness together and practice it together. And Prophet Muhammad is recognized as being wonderful example, in that regard of establishing a system that cater for the different aspects of the holistic lifestyle. Same thing we have in Krishna consciousness, we call it Vanashram. But like you rightly said, some are thinking that the Vanashram is not a priority. And that's why I asked my question. What is the alternative for helping people, helping society at large to develop Krishna consciousness? Helping individual, everyone can go, everyone can, make his own research, whatever he finds, practices it, and, but does that change the society? Very, very rare, very difficult. So anyway, thank you very much. But I would prefer that somebody like you, or whoever, that believes in the principles of an ashram and knowing the importance, should not do double speak. That you should hit at it in a way that everyone should feel compelled to see that he has to be an instrument in making the society around him practice Krishna consciousness as Prabhupada envisioned it. That's what I would wish. But I thank you very much for all the beautiful points that you advanced in this connection. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you very much. I appreciate.
Well, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. Well, Ganga Prabhu, thank you so much for speaking and your answer and your reaction to Srimad Acharya Prabhu's question and comment. I had a question, but I would like to say something in regards to Shimavara Prabhu's comment first. And if anyone has something to say, you may do that. Excuse me. This is the beauty and the challenge of speaking to people. If one is speaking to general people, not speaking one-on-one, this simply double speak will always be there, I think. Because, please unmute yourself if you're not speaking. Because we are speaking to a whole vast of people. Some people belong to this group, some people belong to that group. Some people belong to this level, some people belong to that level. And we see in chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Chapter 12 talks about the devotional service, but Lord Krishna gives so many different avenues. If you cannot do this, then do that. If you cannot do this, do that. If you cannot do this, do that. So in this way, we do not have any room to complain that, oh, this was the only opportunity given and I could not do it. But Krishna gives different opportunities, and that if we gradually follow the various opportunities, we will come to the ultimate. So I am thinking that from what Ganga Prasad Prabhu said, His Grace said, he gave the different alternatives that people may take to Krishna consciousness, but he also cemented that the ultimate is bhakti. And that is actually what the text says, and that is what Srila Prabhupada also states, that because, in fact, it's a follow-up of yesterday's discussion, that Lord Brahma wanted his sons, the four Kumaras, to do a particular thing, and they disobeyed him.
And he got angry.
Why should disobedient children be glorified as great devotees? Srila Prabhupada has asked this question. Srila Prabhupada asked, why do we call Prahlad a Mahajan? Prahlad was standing there, his father was being killed, and he never complained, he never made any attempt to protect his father. And yet we glorify this, excuse to say, this careless son. But it was for a higher purpose. The four Kumaras, they did not obey the father, but it was for a higher purpose. So I am thinking that, not making myself the second preacher, I am thinking that generally when we're speaking to general people, it will be helpful to speak in such a way that different people belonging to different levels of realization can pick something from what is being shared and understand that, oh, okay, even if I'm doing this, that is okay, but I can do something which is higher or greater. And if he or she decides to do that, then he will do that. So this is my view, that I think this simply double speak is a necessity when we're speaking to general people. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for that contribution. That's what it means, different strokes for different folk. Different stroke for different folks. You can ask your question now.
All right, so thank you. My question then, I told you that I am very much, yes, I'm disturbed. I'm very much impressed by this, encouraged, but I'm disturbed also because it is said that, if I may put the purport here, Yes. Yes, I'll put it up here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada is very special. Because the purpose of material creation by Brahma is clearly described herein. And you highlighted it, the purpose. Every human being should beget nice children in the womb of his wife as a sacrifice for the purpose of worshiping the supreme persons of Godhead in devotional service. Now, this is the question. I've been able to follow the second part, beget in the womb of his wife. I have children, and they were begotten in the womb of my wife, not a woman outside my wife. But how do I make my children nice children? It is a demand of me that my children should be nice children. We as humans have this saying that you may force a donkey or a horse to the riverside, but you can't make it drink. How can I make my children nice children if I'm trying my best and my best is not good enough for the children? Yesterday we had this issue, and Mother Rajalila was saying, well, the children are also individuals. They also have their own likes and dislikes. So this is my problem. How do we beget nice children? And the Chakra Prabhu also asked, if you cannot liberate your children, then don't give birth to children. How do I liberate my children when I'm trying everything I needed to do and they said no? This is my problem. Prabhuji, please help.
I share your concern. But then that's why we are encouraged, inspired, and Soko is there in the Bhagavatam. Prabhupada mentioned clearly in 1122, he said the age of Kali is very dangerous for the human beings. The influence of Kali is very dangerous. So you may work very hard, do everything possible, but you see, James Aliche said, I made my plans, I played my part. Some other fool foil it. That is the way the cookie crumbles. So Kali Yuga can foil it. But then, you see, there are a lot of factors. And it's just like we are talking about Vanashram also. It's of concern. And basic things we are not doing. So why should we complain? Part of our community requirement is to have school for our children to attend. And they are taught by devotees. But we are sending them to secular schools where they are having peer influence and societal influence and a big pressure of high consumerism. What magic wand do you have to tame them? Okay, this is what Bhagavatam says. This is what Prabhupada tells us here. But then I take succor in Srila Krishnapa's statement. Srila Krishna once said that these initiations we are giving, we are not giving them because these guys are going to be devotees in this lifetime. We are only sowing seed. So Prabhu sow seed, and the future will fructify. That's what I can inspire you with. Don't be discouraged. Keep up your best. It is painstaking. Gurus are also going through the same pains. So you will only do your part. And in the end, if you look at Prabhupada Lamrita, the last chapter, Prabhupada said, or one of the chapters, Prabhupada said, I've done my part. So Prabhupada, I've done my part. Whatever now happens, you know, he leaves it to providence. So sincerely just do your part. And Krishna is in the heart. That's one good conviction I have about practicing Krishna consciousness. Krishna is in your heart. He knows your struggles. He knows your aspirations. And is ready to reciprocate. So leave it up to him, but honestly do your part. The times are perilous, according to the Bible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I say thank you as a matter of sincerity, because when you have 2, 3, 4, 5 people saying the same thing, and that is the beauty of this Sangha we have. We have different people from across the world. They come here and mostly speak the same thing. So we understand that we are doing the right thing. The way you responded to my dilemma is like you were here yesterday. You just continued from where we left off yesterday. This is exactly what Mother Brajalila was saying. Because sometimes it could be very frustrating, but there is always solace somewhere. And I must say thank you so much. Now we go to Her Royal Highness Mitravinda Devi, please. Mitravinda Devi, please give me on mute. Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. I would first of all like to say thank you so much for sharing today, Prabhu, and how much I appreciate this platform. I would attempt humility. I am aspiring to be a Vaishnava. And I want to first of all say to Sahadev Prabhu's comment that, he's very humble, but his children are already liberated. I know them. They're beautiful. His eldest son is the devotee and Vaishnava. Has so many skills, attributes. His speech is perfection. And I adore him. He's my nephew. He's very protective of women, children, and educated and qualified. I studied many things when I lived at Kidanagri before marrying and having children. And I did it with full intention of begging Krishna for the blessing of children. And I found out several things that are not commonly spoken of. Can I be heard? Can you hear me?
Yes.
You're audible.
Yeah.
Okay. So regarding begetting good children, one of the things, in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam for over 35 years and taking notes and transcribing for Guru Maharaj, there's so much information. It's directly how to live our lives. One of the things that I read, and I'm not a scholar, I don't profess to be one, but you can look it up if you like, is that I desired to have children. And what I read was, as a devotee, it would be a good idea to have a Vaishnava husband. And in my reading, I found out that the seed, Krishna is the seed-bearing father of all, but the service of the Vaishnava man, the devotee man, is to serve in that way. So whatever a jiva in a male body does, his chanting, his service, his deeds, that all goes into the service of begetting children. And that is what is meant by begetting good children. The devotional service that he performs before he marries is the output that happens when he impregnates his wife as a service to Krishna. So it goes far beyond just externals of what a child does, because we don't know what's going to happen later on. But we can see good qualities in these children that are born of jivas who are serving. and hearing and chanting. And in fact, the soul is carried in the sperm of the man. This is something that's not often talked about, that I've read also in Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is not for the faint of heart, nor is it for those who are shy or want to be in denial about biology and sex and different things. We must read this with full heart and full faith, and we will be able to taste the fruits. The mother carries that seed. Her responsibility is to protect it while it is in the womb, nourish it by what she eats, give the child Krishna's form by watching the deity, chanting herself, doing whatever services she can that will not put in danger the child's body. The mother is responsible for that body. The father carries the soul before he impregnates the wife. So I encourage all young men, do good things, chant very nicely. And, you know, it is said in Shastra that chanting just one time in a pure way makes one very much receptive and connected to this process. So you can have someone who's chanting while thinking nonsense and doing unimaginable things repeatedly. And, you know, a young man maybe who chants and is very, very focused just once. So we have to get off of numbers and get into, instead of quantity, quality. And we have to inspire our youth, and we have to protect them and feed them and kiss them and hug them and make them feel wanted. And they will do the same for our grandchildren when they come. Now, no condescension, not so much over messages about rules, especially when they're little. In fact, in Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, a child should not be disciplined until age 5. Not until age 5. And so when we think about psychology and neurology, just basic stuff like body stuff, you know, a child cannot comprehend certain things. A child is not supposed to be told no until age 5 because they can understand no. When you say, no, don't throw that, a child under 5 will only hear, throw that. And that's the problem a lot of parents are running into. Even, and I'm going across the board in whatever culture, we have the culture of, our goal is the culture of Krishna consciousness. And it is founded in bhakti. And bhakti is love. So more of that for our children, more of that for our wives, more of that for our husbands, more of that for our communities, and more of that for the guests and people that come who want to be a part of it. And the more who want to be a part of it from an international perspective. We don't want to spread, you know, things just one way. This is Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON, international. And in that way we grow, and in that way we serve, and in that way Krishna and Guru are pleased. And I will say also, because I am imperfect, there are things that I wish I had done differently, but all in all, I am grateful for Krishna's mercy and the mercy of the Vaishnavas. And we have to be strong with our children in a way that is based in love and bhakti. So I would like to say to all of the fathers on here, understand that everything you have done, all of the mantras, all of the service, all of the marathons and bringing in money, everything that you do that is about love and service to Krishna flows into your family, and it always did. Be inspired. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, thank you very much. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Mitra Vendra Devi, for sharing what you just shared with the world. I see So, I think he left. Oh, Tribhuvannath. Tribhuvannath Prabhu is here. Hare
All
Krishna.
glory.
Yeah, our brother.
All glories.
Hello.
Saturday we always come again.
Lamide,
Yeah,
All
yes. I
glories.
always call your name because I don't
stop
see
that
you
fun,
often.
obviously.
My respectful obeisance to all the great Vaishnavas on the platform.
Jai, jai, jai.
Terrible.
Yeah. Ganga Prasad, I'm not so much, I didn't get part of the class, but and also the long talk for Mitra Devi Dasi. So how does it collide with the class? Please, can you just give a little touch on that?
She actually responded to Sahadev Prabhu's question.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I wanted to ask her if she's a child caregiver, because she knows the psychology, she knows the requirements, and she's versed in the scripture. What she said is absolute, what it should be. And she iced it by saying, generally, people don't say this. It's like concealed, but that is the truth. When Diti confronted Kasyapa Muni and he put her in family way, he did that, but later explained to her, this is the consequence of what will happen. It's in line with what she's saying, the seed that the man discharges. And when Diti became convinced of the calamitous situation that pregnancy will cause, she kept the pregnancy for 100 years out of concern for the welfare of living entities. And when she was told that the time is up, she delivered the kids. So yes, I am very encouraged by what she answered. And Prabhu Sahadev, I think she gave you some encouragement. And also, I will only add that actually the kids of now, from my analysis, that we subject them to, Prabhupada used the word slaughterhouses. So when they are slaughtered, why do we complain? Rather, like you said, we should appreciate them. We should be sympathetic to them, because you can't imagine a child dealing with content of cell phone. The pollution is heavy. It's a huge distraction. In our own time, we didn't face that. That may be the reason why we could very seriously take to Krishna consciousness in the beginning. So we should have some kind of sympathy for the kids because of the bombardment of society. Those who invented cell phone, that is what they want to achieve. It's part of it. So, Tribunal Prabhu,
Yes,
I
sir.
don't know if I represented the answer for your questions.
Yeah, I think you have blended to the extent that I get the points where the talk is coming from. So I want to just add to what you said, especially when you mentioned that phone. So we see that what's his name again? King Anga, the father of King. What was that name? Who was his son again? There was no cell phone in the era of King Anga. So we see that when the son was born, he was so much full of passion, in spite of the restrictions that Anga tries to put, across this, song. But still, it never happened the way he expected. So because of the son, the king had to leave the kingdom. So how do we evaluate that and balance it with what you just respond? I mean, what you were just put in a way that I can easily understand what was going on in the class.
Thank you very much. You know you're a professor, so
No,
what do
no,
I have to
no.
tell you?
I'm not-
But
I just want to understand.
the reality is what we have spoken now are simultaneously external, like Mahaprabhu told
Ramananda.
Ramananda, right? More of external, but also in insemination, it is not external only, it has internal content. But beyond this insemination and internal content is the, what do you call it? Genetical setting. Vina was more influenced by the maternal background. So these are not things you talk or we're able to deduce easily. You have to probe further. So that was why he was the way he was. But then the father did everything, but that played a more prominent role. I wanted to mention this also when she was saying, because the father of Vina is a saintly person. So the insemination of obviously would have been right to get a son. But the gentleman ran away in the night. Anyway, so this is healthy discussion. So we can see from different angles why what happens. But Saudi Prabhu, stay tuned, you know.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Well, Prabhuji, thank you so much. I have one more question, and I'm glad that, oh, okay. Harichakra Prabhu has a question. I'm glad that Shrimad Acharya Prabhu is still here, because even though I'm asking the question to you, Your Grace, Ganga Prasad Prabhu, that because His Grace Srimad Acharya said something in that regard. If he also, after you've answered, if he also has something to say in that regard, he may do so. But we'll go to Harichakra Prabhu first. I've been talking so much. Harichakra Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. All
Hare
glories to
Krishna.
you. All glories to Gurudev. All glories to Prabhupada.
Hare
And all
Krishna,
glories to the
Prabhu.
assembled devotees. Yeah.
Right.
Thank
Nice
you
to be on
very
your darshan.
much. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for
Hare
the
Krishna.
elaborate discussion. Yeah. I wanted to give a little bit comment on that Vanashram plus, I mean, especially the question Shimavara Acharya Prabhu asked about how some of us have been very, we are showing some laxities as far as Vanashram is concerned. But personally, I've also been very confused about this issue. But what I realize is that I remember one guru once told us in Ghana that we don't need temples. Just go out and distribute books and preach. We can sit under trees and be okay. Even though it was a guru who said it, but somehow or the other it was funny too, because after we go out and distribute the books, the people read the books and they are interested in what we are saying. When they come to visit us, where are we going to put them?
Under the tree.
Under the tree.
And where are you going to keep the books? Going to keep the books under the tree.
So the whole idea about this Vanashram, the way I understand it is that I know we all human beings cannot be equal. Some will be more advanced than others. So some will be able to take up devotional service straight away. But if even you come to our temples, I mean, this is the truth. When we go out and preach and tell people about how devotional service is very superior and everything, when they come to the temple, when the people visit us after reading the books that we have sold to them, what should they come and see to help them practice? They should be able to see whatever we are saying in being in practice. Other than that, we'll go and preach to them. They will come, they'll see us and go back and never return. You see? So I think even the true Vanashram is there to help people for them to see our way of life in practice, so that when we attract them and they come, yeah, okay, sir, continue a little bit.
Says God.
Okay. Chakra Prabhu, thank you. I said it's a pinprick. Vanashram is a pinprick in ISKCON. But let me just share this. I wanted to make this like the final reading I will share before we close, but I can share it now because Chakra Prabhu has given me the platform, and it will also buttress what Prabhupada is seeking. Why is it not happening? Prabhupada said, Abhiram Prabhu was quoting Prabhupada in the Vanashram Compendium of Shivaram Swami. Vanashram Compendium of Shivaram Swami. He said, quoting Prabhupada, Tamakrishna was asked that you have not finished translating Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada said, no, that is not my disturbance. I have not established Vanashram. On the next occasion, some time later, I was with Srila Prabhupada in his room when he made the statement, 50% of my work is not complete because I have not established Vanashram. On upper there, Prabhupada said, Vanashram is important because not that everyone will become a devotee. Those who won't become devotees, for them, we need Vanashram. So we can approach this Vanashram as a model for us. It is a stepping stone for those who will never become, because they will have succor of life. That portion of Bhagavatam I read, 1:9, text 8 to 12. Read the purport, Prabhupada spread it. People will be happy. People are looking for happiness, they don't want any religious allegiance. Then, why is it not implemented? The discussion went on, and we as Srila Prabhupada followers and servants, and so we are duty bound to make an attempt to fulfill his desire. From all evidence, it is clear that His Divine Grace wanted his followers to establish an ashram in ISKCON and then in the world. But where will we start? If you are doing business, you say right feasibility study and all of this. Where will we start? Where is the feasibility study? So when we are organizing the issue, we should be thorough. For the past decade, the members of the Hungarian Yatra have dedicated themselves to fulfilling the first 50% of Srila Prabhupada's mission. Okay? But then, in fact, there is some indication that even Srila Prabhupada felt he needed to give thought to what the second half of the mission was. In this regard, Abhiram Prabhu wrote, I said, Srila Prabhupada, you mentioned that you have wanted to establish Vanashram. How will you establish Vanashram? Is a question for everybody. But this question is directed first to Prabhupada. How will you establish Vanashram? And he responded, I'll go to where Sahadev is staying. I'll go to Gita Nagari, sit down and teach how to live off the land. That's the first step in Vanashram. Go to Gita Nagari, sit down and teach how to live off the land. Being present on this occasion and the words being directly aimed at me, I understood this in a certain way. I gained some grasp of his way of speaking in this informal and practical setting. Reflecting on his words, I believe that one part of the face may be a little hidden and interesting. By His Divine Grace saying, I will sit down, it is my personal speculation that this means he did not yet know everything he would do or instruct. it was something he will need to sit down and observe, reflect on, and gain insight from parampara as to how to establish Vanashram. He had not yet done this. So far as we know, since not that much detail is given in his writing, thus, it is now for us to sit down and learn how we can live off the land. So if we are eager to do, we have to start from somewhere.
What is the title of the book you're reading from?
Vanashram Compendium by Volume 1 by Sivaram Swami.
Okay, thank you. Vanashram Compendium. All right. Prabhuji, see, when you cook sweet tasting food, you know you're going to attract a lot of customers. Now, I believe you wanted to leave, but when you present Krishna consciousness so beautifully, how are you going to leave? So we have few hands up. Shivara Prabhu, please, you be on mute and go ahead. Shivara.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
First, I want to comment on the last part of that comment Prabhu was reading from. And you call my attention, I guess, to the issue of child raising. I guess if it is that, then of course I'm
No, it's not child raising.
It's
about Vanashram.
Okay,
yes.
I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that last statement in that book, in that paragraph, and I think Maharaj said that he speculated, and I think I want to agree with him because when Prabhupada
I won't agree with him either, Prabhuji.
Yeah, because when Prabhupada said, I will go to the land and sit down and then teach how to live from the land.
Yes, teach.
Upland, yeah.
Anyone who had seen communities developed in agrarian area, people from a small community, a small village, knew very well that this is how it starts.
Yeah.
This is how it starts. Somebody, we in Africa here, so many of our villages and towns or wherever were founded by leaders who went to a particular place, sat down there, and started a community by living off the land. People come, and then gradually different aspects of the community started developing. I think Prabhupada knew what he was saying.
Yeah.
It was not that Prabhupada wanted to go and sit down and then start thinking of what to do. I don't agree with that. I really don't agree. I don't. So anyway, that's just my comment about that. And then Sadi Prabhu, still I didn't get what you wanted me to comment on.
No, because I haven't stated it yet. That is why
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But
good.
I agree with you in the sense that Srila Prabhupada was once asked, you, A.C. Bhaktivedanta, you spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. Why is it that you are doing it? Your spiritual master didn't do it. He couldn't do it. And he said, my spiritual master could have done all what I'm doing. It is just his mercy. He left something for me to do. And so obviously, Srila Prabhupada, if he wanted to establish Vanashram, he could have done it. It's not that he did not have a clear idea how to do it and where to start it. He knew everything, but as a merciful Acharya, he also left something for us as the followers to also have something to do. That is my understanding. Now, my question, Ganga Pasha Prabhu, I don't know if you agree with my, of course, Prabhuji clearly said that is a speculation. So I'm also speculating here. We all have the right to speculate. But my question is this. One time I was speaking with this devotee, Nitya Kishore Devi, who used to speak here, right? And she was sharing with me one of her trips to Germany. There was one temple she visited. And this temple, they're also trying to establish an ashram. But there was one devotee, when he goes to the temple, then the temple authorities will kick him out of the temple. They don't want to see him. But he loved farming. And the temple is a farming community. Why did the temple keep kicking him out? Because he loved to work on the land, but at the same time, he liked to smoke a cigarette. And this devotee was explaining that I am not a Brahmin. I cannot live the lifestyle of a Brahmin. I'm a Shudra. I like to do dirty work. And I like to smoke, to have my peace of mind to do my dirty work. These people say we're doing Vanashram. I should be assimilated into the system, but they're not accepting me. Each time I go, they're kicking me out. So this is just one crude example. I'm not trying to say if someone smokes is a Shudra, but someone wants to live on the land, till the soil. But if we're following Vanashram and someone is doing the laborer work, you do not expect a laborer to be super neat and clean all the time like a pujari will. So how are we going to fit these different ashrams or varnas into our temples if we have to establish it? So my understanding, before you answer, my understanding is that we are establishing Varnashram for those who are not devotees of Krishna. Those who are devotees of Krishna, they can take all the different roles, being Sudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Brahmin. They can do all those without being dirty themselves. But those who are not devotees, if they're following this Varnashram, we cannot expect them to live a sucha life like devotees do in the temple. That is why I said I wanted your opinion, Ganga PRABHU, since you are the speaker, and since I know Shrimavara, my precious mentor, he is very much inspired about Varnashram. If you also have something to share in this regard, you may do that. So Ganga PRABHU, to you, please. And I'm sorry we're keeping you here longer than usual.
No.
Okay.
This is the best thing to do, the best association to be in. The input I'll make is this. I have a practical experience of interacting with Srila Krishnapad here in West Africa. And all his preaching were centered around farm community, cottage industries, and then living on the land. But his frustration was that we have all imbibed city dwelling. Nobody wants to live on the land. So he never walked. So if anybody is positive about it, excuse me, let us start by going to the land. And the idea of that is only for the non-devotees. It's not very viable because a devotee, a Vaishnava, will do everything, anything for the pleasure of Krishna. So even going to till the land is a pleasure. I was in Tikli. Tikli was one center we were forming around the 87 near Gurugram today. Jamaswami Prabhu was in New Vrindavan. But when all the saga of New Vrindavan happened, he ran to India to take succor. Jamaswami Prabhu was one of the project coordinators there. And Bhaktipat said on that land that this project will not grow if you people are buying tomatoes with money. If you must eat tomato, grow the tomato. That's living off the land. Jamasami were cultivating tomato. The day Bhaktipad made this statement, Namanda Swami left that project. Because we are not ready for austerity. So let us call spade spade and deal with it. Prabhupada specifically mentioned, I'll go to Gita Nagari. You are living in Gita Nagari now, so this is connecting to the concept. Go to Govardhan Eco Village. It's not city, but it has become city in the urban area. They left Chopati, they left the city, they went to kilometers in the bush near the hills. Now people are attracted from all over the world. They introduce yoga. The best yoga institution in America comes here for train the trainers program in Govardhan Eco Village. Ayurvedic medicine is practiced there. Farming is going on there. A lot of things are going on, but the first thing is you have to culture that detachment. He said, Vanashram is to teach attachment and detachment simultaneously. When Prabhupada set up Juhu temple, the devotees accosted Prabhupada one fine morning and told Prabhupada, we are Westerners, we are not used to this kind of facility. We need water system, we need it, we need it, we need. They went on ranting. And Prabhupada listened carefully and said, don't you want to be purified? That was the end of the discussion. It's austerity. When Mritvinde Mataji mentioned now, to beget children, in the purport he said, as austerity, as a sacrifice. What did he say? As a sacrifice for the purpose of worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So even we can do. As a sacrifice. And Bhaktipada gave an example. A guru wants to build a temple inside the sea. But it will require a devotee who will sacrifice his life to carry the muti of Nisingadev and jump into the sea. He will not deliver the deity to the base of the sea, but the deity will find his way to the base of the sea. The devotee will die. So it is, who are those who are ready to die? Those who are ready to die, those who are ready to leave city and go to the urban area. The people who set up communities, they didn't look for cities. They looked for remotes of all remotes. And it came up. So we should call the shots and face it squarely, and we'll get what we want. But we have not become ready because everybody wants cozy environment, comfort zone, and that is not happening. Otherwise, by now, we should have viable, virtual communities where we can set up Vanashram. It's not only for non-devotee, but I'll use the word, yes, but then whatever a great man does, come away and follow. When they see, that was also the spirit of West Virginia, New Vrindavan. It wasn't in the city. Okay, so there are pieces and bits of evidences to borrow from. And then if we are really cut out for it, we'll go for it.
Ganga Prabhu.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Hare Chakra Prabhu.
Yeah. Like I said, Karma Kanda took me away, and I'm back.
It's part like of the Vanash. It's part of the Vanashram.
It's like now what you just said, you even took the message out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Because the point is we keep saying that the Vanashram is not for devotees, it's not for us, but it's for the general mass of people who are not like devotees. But the point is, Krishna has said that whatever great men do, common men will follow. So if it's for the general mass of people, where are they going to see the example to follow?
Good. If
we don't have it, when we go out and if we don't establish the Vanashram in our by ourselves, to become like a model for people to, take cue from. Then when is it ever going to happen? We cannot wake up and go to Lagos and start telling people that, hey, you if I look at your quality is a soldier, so leave everything you are doing, become a soldier. You are a farmer, so stop all this computer thing you are doing, stop and become a farmer. We cannot do that. What we can do is that we have to establish the system in our own little way and make it happen and live peacefully in that environment. And so that when we go out and we talk to people about how we can live simple life with high thinking, they can come to our community, stay there for a little bit, look at our way of life, and be convinced that, wow, this thing is possible.
Yeah.
If we don't have that, I can tell you, even though Prabhupada has promised us that Krishna consciousness will keep growing for the next 10,000 years. But if we don't if we don't set the good examples, we will keep dwindling. We will keep dwindling. West Africa, we used to have so many devotees, so many temples. Now, how many temples do we have? How many devotees do we have? Because we don't have no examples to show the world. We have no example to show the world. So I think the Vanashram should begin with us. We should stop thinking about, oh, it belongs to the general mass of people, it's not for us. We have to be the example. We have to be the example. So when Prabhupada told us that he was going to Gita Nagari, sit down and teach us how to live on the farm, how to live from the land, that message is loud and clear. We have to establish that system now so that we can bring people. You'll be surprised to know what happens even the little way in Gita Nagari now. Some people will travel from Europe and other places to come and live in Gita Nagari and pay to come and live there, just to learn how to farm, how to do some how to milk the cows, how to grow what do we call it, cucumber.
Yeah.
They pay to come and learn how to do that. So I think we ourselves we talk too much, but we act very little. We talk too much, but our action doesn't prove. It doesn't, like Krishna says, we should walk our talk. We don't walk our talk.
Talk is cheap.
Hare Krishna.
Talk is cheap.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Yeah. Thank you,
Prabhu. The point is, Vanashram is not a complete write-off. It's just that I have not gathered the momentum required. Modi just celebrated his 75th birthday. And the Prime Minister went to Govardhan Eco Village. The Prime Minister went to ISKCON Vrindavan, worship Arti to Prabhupada. So it's not like a zero concept. It's ongoing. It may not have blossomed as we expect. I watched one documentary of devotees and some visitors who came to New Vrindavan for Holy Festival. Okay? People are finding a way to be away from the maddening crowd. The city is becoming a place of high tension. People need succor. They need recreation. They need some kind of mental peace. There's an author that call it away from the maddening crowd. So these are part of things we achieve. And here in this book, because the book goes on and says, by the time we set up the Vanashram model and communities, and people are seeing it, he said that is when we'll be able to take up the leadership of the world. Because we have a template that people are seeing. If we have this, we can be peaceful. We can take over the leadership of the world. So yes, it's viable. We have to chase it. but then it is not city dwelling. You have to grow tomatoes if you must eat tomato. Don't buy tomatoes.
Well, these are my apologies to you because you've prepared such sweet meal and it's attracting so many people. When you have a very sweet flower, you're going to attract bees. And now there are these bees swarming all over you. Now we have two hands up. Let me see, we've been here for more than 2 hours, but the love is still pouring. Madhava Prabhu, please you may unmute. Madhava Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu, for giving us this very wonderful presentation. I'm sure all of us appreciate it in full. I just want to declare that Prabhu Ganga, as I know him, the time he was the temple president in Ibadan, he established a very big farm, a large farm, and the farm was very successful. And inside the farm, we are also given the accommodation. So that was an opportunity to give devotees that they can even stay in the farm for many days. It was wonderful, actually. So it's a man of his word. It's not a person that just talks. It's a man of action. It's quite practical. And he single-handedly established this farm before other devotees started following him. So, but unfortunately, when he left as the president, the next president did not, the idea did not go with him. He said it's a Brahmana, so a Brahmana is not supposed to be doing the work of a Sudra. So the farm was like that, abandoned. So it's one of the things, when we remember, it's very painful for us because such a facility will have made the Ibadan temple one of the best temple, even worldwide. Then, secondly, well, our time has gone, so I just want to be very brief. The financial system we are discussing, I believe it's not an isolated concept. Because even in the Gita, it is a concept that is natural. And be a devotee or non-devotee, you belong to a particular class in the financial system. So then what the time now. When we look at there's a statement in this our today's text, we stated that financial Dharma is a systematic institution for advancing in worship of Vishnu. However, if one directly engages in the process of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it may not be necessary to undergo the ordinary system of financial Dharma. I think if someone will take this statement literally, he can decide to abandon family life and then decide to live in temple and saying that he can abandon his responsibility as a financial. So I think this statement, we have to look at it critically so that it is not misunderstood. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You remind me of something.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that, Madhava Prabhu. Ganga Prasad Prabhu, when you were speaking, I wanted to say something that you're very smart. You saw me, I wanted to say something, so you asked me to pause, and thank you. But what I wanted to say to buttress what you were saying about this farm, which has been highlighted by Madhu and Prabhu, also is that some of our leaders treated farm work as a detention. Anytime any devotee does something improper, the threat is that we're going to send you to the farm. So it was like a dungeon, you know, and I mean, what has happened in the past, we cannot correct it. But if we can only learn from the history and try to avoid making or repeating same mistakes, I think we all are going to be helped. So I think we all can do that. I'm Sadhuta Prabhu. You may unmute, and please, Prabhujis, Matajis, I am on my knees. My waist is not strong enough, so I cannot lay flat like a log. I'm going on my knees. May this be the last exchange for today. Hare Krishna. So I'm Sadhuta Prabhu. He who laughs last the best. So thank you.
Hare Krishna, Your Grace. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. I was here yesterday and a lot of questions were asked and explanations. But I will say this is, the Grace Hare Prabhu yesterday, I thank you so much. Because this is, apart from listening to Harikata, this is a lot of healing. And a lot has been learned. Because I'll say to myself, maybe sometimes we go through a lot of difficult times, and this have been a lot of healing in so many ways. And for the last time of today, I'm beginning to understand what is Vanashram. Always, I hear it, but I didn't know exactly what it means. But today, I understand what that means. And I think the Color of Festival came in, and I want to say a little something about that. It was my first time participating in Festival of Colors in New Vrindavan. Last year, they didn't do it. And the reason they didn't do it, I'm not in the right place to say it. But what made them do it this year and it will continue was that the Kamis questioned New Vrindavan, why did they stop the Festival of Colors? They questioned them. And they wrote letters to the administration that they wanted to come back.
Yeah.
And they choose the day they want to do it because they want to do it on Saturday. They said, no, we want it on Sunday because on Saturdays, our children go and play football and we want to be there. And you can see that 80% of people who came are Kamis. And indirectly, they are all chanting Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
And it was so amazing. And I was asking myself that why is this something like this that it has to be Kamis who has to request that we have to do it. And they have brought it back again. And it was so beautiful. I don't want to say much, but this is the little that I want to say. This has given a lot of people opportunity to chant Hare Krishna. Directly and indirectly, these people are going to be saved. And I want to thank all of you, especially the speaker, the contribution, and Mother Mitravinda. He says something which is very wonderful. And I thank you so much because this has get impact in my life today. So this is the little that I want to say. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And His Grace, our beloved speaker for today, Ganga Prasad Prabhu. Thank you so much for your fatherly affection and your motherly patience and tolerance. Hare Krishna. I ask these questions because...
Please read the chat. Let's read the chat. Please read the...
No, we chant. That we will not miss it. But I was saying that I ask these questions because I know that no matter how good we may be as parents, as devotees, no matter how great our children may be, there is always room for improvement. We could be better than who we are today. So that is why I ask these questions. And when I ask these questions, I ask generally, but also personally. Like, I know I can do better than what I'm doing now, but I'm not doing it. So thank you all so much. And like Mitravenda Mataji just reminded me, we're going to humbly request you all. Apologies, devotees who probably had something to ask or to add to that. You were unable to do that. We apologize, but we have to come to a close today. And we're here tomorrow by Shri Guru Krishna's grace. We're going to request you all to kindly unmute yourselves, and we all chant our Krishna Maha Mantra to express.
Read
Okay.
chat.
All right. Ganga Prasad Prabhu, please go ahead. Yes.
I want to leave everyone on this note.
Yes.
The Vana, its central theme is about being a good person and being a good devotee. Although being a good person is not a prerequisite to becoming a devotee. If one is still a conditioned soul, being a good person helps one to be a good devotee. Why? Because devotional service is most easy and most effective when practitioners are situated in the mode of goodness. By practicing bhakti in goodness, devotees can quickly rise to the transcendental platform where the good qualities of demigods spontaneously manifest. End of the broadcast. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It would have been a very serious disservice if you did not read this. Thank you so much. And then now back to our tradition. We're going to humbly request you all to unmute yourselves, and we are with one voice, one heart, one love, chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our deepest appreciation to our revered speaker, His Grace Ganga Prasad Prabhu, for sharing his love and wisdom with us all today.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Pancha
Krishna,
Devacha Patitanam Pavanam Vaishnavyo Namo Namo.
Namo Namaha. Nankoti Vaishnav Vindeki Jai.
Jai. Honorary Ganga Prasad Prabhu ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Srila Raghunath Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Jai ho.
All